Welcome, everyone. I'm David Bowders. I'm CEO of TradeHounds. I'm joined today by Burke Hunsaker. Burke is the VP of Electrical Apparatus for Siemens.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the time to talk to you.
Yeah, so Burke, tell me a little bit about what you do for Siemens. That's an interesting title.
So right now I'm running the Apparatus business for the electrical products unit in Siemens. So anything from switchgear down to lighting panels, that's within my responsibility.
And what are some of the biggest challenges that you're dealing with today?
Well, I think right now it's the explosive growth in the industry, really driven by data centers. And that's on the switchboard and switchgear side. So that's one of the exciting things that energizes me each day is the new challenges that are coming and how we can solve these challenges, how we can help our customers meet their needs and their targets.
And so what's really the big holdup? What's making it hard to accomplish all of this?
One of it is we have different constraints that are placed upon the industry. I think of it in the 3 Ps. Think about first was product, and us, Siemens, and our manufacturing colleagues have added significant capacity over the last few years to bring up the overall capacity in the industry to ensure that that product is available for these large data center customers and large customers overall, not just data centers. So we've kind of addressed the product constraint. Then it moves to power and being able to get enough electricity into these data centers. And that's kind of what we're working on right now with the utilities. One of the things that we've seen is data centers moving to different geographies where power is available, and then new and novel ways to generate electricity. We've seen in the news recently some interesting agreements between these large data center customers and nuclear power plants.
Even resuscitating 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, 3 Mile Island, Microsoft with their PPA with Constellation Energy. Very exciting, very novel ways of doing this. And we think that's going to continue on to where we can eliminate or at least minimize that power as a constraint. And that leads us to the 3rd P, which is that of people. And so being able to ensure that we have the right skill set and the number of electricians in the right locations in order to meet this demand. And so we think about those 3 Ps of constraint, product, and power being worked on, but people is one that we can't neglect, that we need to ensure that we're putting enough focus on training that next generation and making sure that they have the right skills to meet the incredible demand that's happening in the industry.
So on the people side of it, we're trying to build awareness of when to use the products, how to use the products, all of that.
Yep. And this is a key focus for us to get to the rising generation early in high school, to make them aware that this can be a very viable career for them. It can be rewarding. They can support a family on this, that there's growth potential for them in this area. And this is something that they can come to very quickly. It doesn't take 4 years of college degree to get a job where they can support themselves and a future family. And this is where they can be part also of an industry that's really transforming the world. You're partnering with some of the great companies in the world, whether it's NVIDIA or Microsoft or Google. It is helping them accomplish what they have as targets as companies.
And we know perhaps half of the electrical workforce will retire in the next 5 to 10 years. Their backs and knees are tired, and they'll be replaced by a new generation of digital natives. How does this new generation of digital natives, how do we connect with them when we're trying to spread the message? A lot of the methods must have changed, right?
Absolutely. One of the things that we know doesn't work is the old methods. I appreciate you saying that we need to have new methods. And as Siemens, we've really put a lot of emphasis in our training modules to make them more online, more accessible. Previously, we were sending people to trade schools in brick and mortar, and they were sitting through classrooms upon classrooms. Now we've got virtual reality, right? We're having people put on the Oculus headsets and training in a virtual world where it's not in a brick and mortar. They can do it in their home. They can do it while they're on a bus or while they're shopping or doing things. So being able to simplify the content to make it the most effective, and being able to allow flexibility to learn that content anywhere. That is something that's been very effective for us. So we're going to continue down that path to use tools to make our training more effective.
Well, one of the things we know about the new generation, though, is not only are the modalities of training changing, but so are the forms of content. So historically, a lot of content was produced in long form. It was produced as more structured learning. And what we're seeing now is increasing preference for short form, what I would call just-in-time learning. How are we leaning into that?
Absolutely. And this is something that I I deal with every day with my kids at home. I've got 4 children at home, and right, this different modality of just-in-time information, right, snippets, right, YouTube and TikTok and all of that, being able to take the basic building blocks of our industry and of those skills, and being able to build on those sequentially together to say, here is a training module for the installation of a panel, and then the breaker on top of that. And so you'll be able to do a piecewise connection or piecewise building until you get the entire training. You're not sitting down in a classroom for hours at a time, but you can get them at 5 or 6 minute clips, and you can practice in between that to really drive that learning and that muscle memory that sometimes is important.
Yeah, we call that drip learning or chunk sequence layer, and really understanding how people learn, how they absorb information more effectively. One of the other major changes that we see is a preference for authentic, let's say, peer-generated content over, let's say, corporate or hierarchical content. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think this is one of the things that we love is these, the old school, the testimonials, but this is almost crowdsourced information, and being able to find those nuggets. Some of the best feedback that we get is from those people that are installing the products themselves. You're having focus groups, being able to have them teach us what is best about our product and what needs to move. So having effective ways in which we can capture that information is something that we're working on. Not just necessarily focus groups, but how can we get real-time information through our apps and through different social media platforms so that we can gather that information, modify our products or our processes, and then get feedback back to those that are installing it.
So having the right type of content in the right format with the right type of voice, if you will. Talk a little bit about the role that a platform like TradeHounds can play in terms of helping you to connect with people where they are.
Well, I think this is a great thing. Like TradeHounds being that platform. I love the way that you use that platform, and that's what we want. We want it to ease of consumption is absolutely critical for us to be successful. We need a platform which we can build upon, and so TradeHounds provides us that platform where people don't need to go look and search in some obscure corner of the web, but they can a proprietary portal that exists with, you have to have a download or something like that. We've seen this throughout the industry. Those don't work. It's not effective. In order to reach the audience that we're looking for, it needs to be a platform, and this is where TradeHounds comes in. And this is why Siemens values this partnership, is you can provide that platform for us to reach across the target audience that we're wanting to reach.
So as you think about this new partnership, what are the real practical challenges that you're trying to resolve?
Well, I think part of the challenge that we have for us is we've got this platform, and now can Siemens take advantage of this? Can we change our mindset into a more digital, consumable mindset? We like to do things the old way, and being able to have a management style and a management view of updating and being able to provide the content in a way that is consumable or easily consumed. That's something that's a challenge for all of us.
And just thinking about even the sharing of content, right? I mean, you want virality of things, and how do we get content that does resonate to get shared so that it's coming from peers as opposed to being pushed, as it were.
One of the things that our traditional feedback loops are not effective, and this is where sometimes in the boardrooms we have a bunch of old guys and women sitting around talking about what to do. That isn't successful. We need to get the feedback from the younger generation, and being able to take that and be able to have our trusted partners that are of a different generation to help guide us. And that's one thing that we've been focused on within Siemens, is to get those new voices into our decision-making circles so that we can provide what is needed for them to be successful.
Well, it's a very exciting time to be tackling all these challenges, and I really appreciate your sitting down with me to share all this with me.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.